All right. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Let me see if my mic is on. Can you guys see and hear me? Go ahead and drop in the one in the chat if you guys can see and hear me, okay? Can you guys see and hear me? Drop a one in the chat if you guys can see and hear me, okay? Hopefully you guys can hear. I am live. I am live. I am live. Welcome, 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 welcome. Gonna throw in a little lip gloss for y'all. Okay, I see some ones in the chat. Glory, glory. Where you guys logging in from? Let me know what city you guys are logging in from. Were you looking to open a beauty supply store? I'm really excited to talk to you guys about this today. So where y'all looking to open a store? What area are you guys in? Just getting my lighting together. Awesome. We have Tampa, Florida in the building. Yay. Anybody else looking to open a store in their community? Let me know in the chat. I am logging in from Queens, New York. This is also the same area where I opened my first beauty supply store. So I'll be sharing my story with you guys on how I opened in New York City 15 years ago. Who else is in the building? Okay, so we have Indianapolis and we have Orlando. Welcome, welcome. Yes, we have so many stores that I'll be sharing with you guys today. So definitely, yes. These are really big areas too. So yeah, we're gonna get into. I'm really excited, and always love talking about opening a beauty supply store. So I'm excited that you guys are on this training tonight. So we're going to get started. We're gonna get started, y'all. So definitely stay to the very end because I'm gonna be sharing with you guys more on how to move forward with this dream and making it a reality. Okay, making it a reality. So I'm gonna share my screen with you guys. So hopefully you guys can see my screen. Drop a one in the chat if you guys can see the slides. Could you guys see the slides? Okay, perfect. All right, so let's get started. I'm excited. Let's get started. So real quick, guys, before we get started on how to get Beauty Spot open in 2026, there's a legal disclaimer that I verbally share with everyone that this training, including all its strategies, frameworks, predictions, methods, and materials, is the exclusive intellectual property of Janice and the Retail Genius. It is provided for personal educational use only. So any reproduction, distribution, recording, sharing, or commercial use of this content, including using it to create your own programs or trainings, is prohibited and will be enforced under U.S. copyright and intellectual property law. Okay, so that's just for people that like to steal my stuff, y'all. I have to add that in there. So moving on for that, I'm excited to share with you guys that the Black-owned beauty supply takeover is here. And I am going to be sharing with you guys so many of our clients' success stories, so many clients that we've helped open stores all across the U.S. Quality Beauty Supply being one. She's out in Grayson, Georgia. This is the first picture that you see. New York Beauty Supply out in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. First Black-owned beauty supply stores. These gentlemen here in the second picture opened about 3 years ago and just recently got into a second location a year ago. Jazzy Chick Beauty Supply is out in Henderson, Nevada. Then we have Be Brave Beauty Supply. These sisters opened 2 locations in LA. My Shade and Texture, she's in Tampa, Florida. House of Melanin is in Oak Park, Illinois. So Chicago's in the building. Bow Culture Beauty is in Orlando, Florida. I feel like I saw somebody from Orlando in here. And then we have Mega Beauty Supply in Cypress, Texas. So on tonight, guys, I'm just going to be sharing with you guys an overview of what is really happening in the beauty supply industry in 2026. What are the things that we have seen change? So I've been in this industry for almost 2 decades, and lived through it all, lived to tell it all. And so I'm going to be sharing with what is changing now in 2026 and what are smart store owners doing differently. I'm going to talk about funding and capital trends, how to get funding for your store, how to position your store to actually win in this economy. And then lastly, I'm going to share with you guys how to join our 2-day intensive program so that we can work together to get your store open. Okay, so definitely stay around to the end. And then if there's questions, I also do a Q&A at the very end as well. So there are some reasons why everyone here needs to get started with their beauty supply store. Might not be the same reason for everyone, but most of the time we're from the same place. Okay. So one of the main reasons why you're probably on this training tonight is because you recognize that you are just kind of tired of your 9 to 5. Your time there has expired and you want to move on to be your own boss. You want to enter entrepreneurship and you want to start working and putting all those hours, all that sweat that you're putting into building someone else's business. You want to put that into your own business, right? You recognize that that's where the true value lives. The second reason why you may be on here is because you understand that your community is waiting for a Black-owned beauty supply store to get open. Most counties do not have a Black-owned beauty supply store. I'm going to deep dive into those numbers to share those statistics with you guys. But most of us recognize that there is a deep need for a Black-owned, woman-owned beauty supply business, and 9 times out of 10, we don't have one. The last reason why you may be on this training is because you want to also create financial freedom and generational wealth for your children. So you could be potentially in a high-paying job that you absolutely love, but you also want to create a wealth vehicle, right? And you can only create that through owning an asset. And a lot of us don't own assets, even if we have well-paying jobs that we absolutely love. You need to have a business asset that you can be able to pass down to your children. And this is one way to do that. So if any of those things resonate with you, I want you to give me a yes in the chat. Give me a yes in the chat. Let me know which number resonated with you the most. Like number 1, you're tired of your job. Number 2, you know your community needs a Black-owned beauty supply store. Or number 3, you want to create financial freedom and generational wealth for your children. So drop a number in the chat. Let me know which one resonated with you the most. Because I know that all 3 probably resonate, but I want to know which one speaks to why you're here on a beauty supply training the most out of all 3. Okay. So if you're watching me for the first time and this is your first training with me, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm excited that you have decided to be a part of my tribe. I'm the Retail Genius, but my real name is Janice Fredericks. I have helped Black women secure over $1.5 million in funding for their beauty supply stores. And our clients collectively have generated over $15 million in revenue in beauty supply alone. I have been recognized in many different magazines, many different publications. When you Google my name, these things come up. But what's really, really important for me to share with you guys in terms of press is the fact that our programs have been recognized as to helping Black women become more wealthy. And so Business Insider wrote that the Retail Genius Bootcamp program is helping fill the pockets of Black women. Yahoo Finance wrote about us and said the program has helped Black women generate $3 million in beauty supply. And that was back in 2020. And Kevo Daily wrote, Janice Fredericks is helping reclaim the beauty supply industry for Black women everywhere. So we have been recognized as one of the companies that is making Black women wealthy and rich. And this is something that we are extremely proud of. And it's our mission to get 100 Black-owned beauty supply stores open in this year. So this, y'all, is my grand opening day. This is a picture that we took at the ribbon cutting ceremony in 2010. It's 2026 now. This was in 2010. And what was so powerful and impactful about this day that I want to share with you guys is that literally this was one of the best days of my life. This is the day that I officially went from being a corporate girl into an entrepreneur. Okay, I had been fired from my job and was trying to figure out entrepreneurship and what kind of business I wanted to get into. I found myself in a beauty supply store, just looking at the amount of Black women that was spending thousands of dollars and no one was getting help. Everyone was frustrated. And yet we still continue to spend our money. And so I knew that if this is a business where people will spend money no matter how they're being treated, What kind of impact could I make when I actually open my beauty supply store and there's good customer service and there's conversation and it's a safe space for Black women, right? And that's when I decided that beauty supply was the business for me. And I had that epiphany while standing in the beauty supply store. Now, your story might be the same. You probably had an epiphany moment standing in a beauty supply store because you was just so frustrated with how you were being treated. And you probably was so frustrated at the lack of response to your questions, right? Many of us have had that experience. And so this is why we decided to open our own stores. This is why I decided to open my own store. And so at this grand opening day, when I finally did it, and I was at the moment where I'm about to cut that ribbon, it's almost like pushing that baby out. How many moms are in here? Give me a 1 in the chat if you're a mom, right? It's like pushing is the moment where you're about to push that baby out. You feel like you can't do it. You're at the end of the rope and the doctor says it's time to push. Give it one more push and the baby comes out. That is exactly how entrepreneurship is. Okay. But what was so great about this day is that my entire family was there. My mom, my parents were there. They were so, so proud. My grandmother was there. She was able to see me achieve this great, great dream of mine of opening this beauty supply store. God rest her soul. And so not only was my family there and they were so, so, so proud, but also the community showed up. And this is why it's important for us to have Black-owned beauty supply stores in our community, because you will now see how much the community really wanted this, because the community shows so much support and they show up and they show out every grand opening that we have. So let me know in the chat, y'all, who's the one person you would want at your ribbon cutting? I want you to drop their name in the chat. Who is the one person you are doing this for? That if you get this store open, everything will change. Not only for your life, but for their lives as well. So it could be your children. It could be your spouse, your grandma, your parents. Who would you want standing next to you at this ribbon cutting? Who would you want? Drop their name in the chat. So I see my mom. Okay, in the chat. Who would you want there? Your mom, your husband, your kids, cousin, community. It could be a hater. Okay. It could be a hater. This is a safe space, by the way, y'all. So the answer is the answer. It is what it is. Okay. And so this is important for us to also identify, because this is going to be our driving factor and why we have to push forward and keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing, because on the other side of this is a completely different life. I lived a completely different life from when I was working a 9-to-5 versus getting into entrepreneurship, where I now have time freedom. I can be at my kids' stuff. I don't have to ask anybody for time off for vacation. I go when I want to go, and I'm able to literally live life on my own terms by being an entrepreneur. And so, guys, literally, we are here at the end of our first quarter, right? Going into the second quarter. And so the year is going by fast. So a question that you want to ask is, how do you want to spend the rest of your 2026? Because imagine that by the end of this year, you could be celebrating your very own grand opening, right? You could be celebrating your very own grand opening. However, you have to be able to see yourself stepping into this. You have to see it before it happens. And what would it actually mean if you were able to actually achieve this goal? What would it mean to be the first Black-owned beauty supply store in your community? Because the opportunity is here. If you're on this training, the opportunity is here. The only question is if you are ready to claim it. Okay. What really holds a lot of us back from moving forward with our beauty supply store, a lot of the times, especially in the Black community, is the myths that we have told ourselves, the myths that people have told us, right? A lot of things like, I don't have enough money. The industry is saturated, right? The beauty supply industry is saturated. I don't know how I'm going to get accounts open. I don't think I have the time to do this. I don't know where I'm going to get funding. And what we have to do is to stop using disempowering language, right? Because when you are going on this journey, and it is a journey, and there will be obstacles, you have to use empowering language, ladies and gentlemen. You will not get far if you allow yourself and other people to use disempowering language around you. And there is a huge mindset shift that we have to go through, especially as people of color, when we are investing and we are investing for the first time. Because as a generation of people in this industry, where we have constantly been on the consumer side of beauty supply, right? We are the ones funneling the money to these stores into Asian hands and into Arab hands. We have to now make a mindset shift into being an investor instead of the consumer of this industry. And that really requires for you to have empowering mindset and using empowering language of I will figure it out. Okay. And there still be questions. There will still be questions. How are the Asians doing this? How do I get started? Are there gatekeepers? How do I get funding? I'm going to go through all of that today in this training. So you will leave with how to do all of these things. Okay. A lot of times when we come to these trainings, we have to recognize that we are sitting in a time where this is like our wake up call, right? You're not here by accident, because nearly 300,000 Black women have lost their jobs, right? Our jobs are not safe. DEI shut down, government shut down every other month. We recognize that in this time, we have to wake up and understand this is our time for ownership. This is our time for legacy. This is our time to have control over our lives. And beauty supply is a $1 billion industry. Okay. So right now it's literally time that we own just more than products, right? We want to own our shelves so that our Black dollar could circulate in the Black community. Because another statistic I want to share with you guys is that 80% of Black mothers are the primary sole breadwinners in their household, including myself. Okay. This is me and my 5 children. I have 5 small babies. They are so cute, but they're a lot. And I understand that as someone who's doing this on her own as a single mom, newly divorced, y'all pray for me, that I have to make sure that I carry out the vision and that I do things scared, because I understand that I literally hold their future in my hands. And so every decision that I make, I am making it on behalf of my kids because I want to leave them with something. I cannot pass down a job. I recognize that. And so we as Black women have to understand that we're doing this not only for ourselves, but for our children and our children's children. This is what generational wealth looks like. And so this is Benisa. This is our first case study that I want to share with you guys. She's got a beauty supply store and hair salon out in North Dakota called Pampered Texture. And she came to me. She was a hairstylist when she came to us, as well as single mom of 4 from West Africa. Okay. And so she came to us saying that she wanted to come from behind the chair. So many of you may be in the service-based industry where you are a hairstylist, makeup artist, something where you are using your hands and you know that you can't use them hands forever, right? And so this is exactly what we did for Benisa. We were able to help her open our beauty supply store as well as a hair salon. So within her space, which is a really beautiful space, she has the most beautiful hair salon as well as a beauty supply store. And in this text message, I think we were just going back and forth on WhatsApp, she mentions that the cash flow is not an issue. Her salon is busy and she does an average of $400, $500 a day. And this was literally in her first year of business. Okay. And so y'all, Benisa, like I said, was a single mom of 4, made it happen as a hairstylist turned full-time entrepreneur. So she could choose when or where she does hair, and she does not have to be a slave to her clients, right? Because now she has a beauty supply store. All right. So now let's get into what we saw in terms of the numbers, what happened in 2025 and what's happening in 2026. So let's take it to 2025. What we saw last year was remarkable. We saw that beauty demand stayed strong even with economic uncertainty. And when we're talking about economic uncertainty, Trump came in, he had his tariffs, and we had no idea what was going to happen because most of the product that we get is from Asia, right? And so we had no idea what was going to happen. However, we saw that Ulta, which is a beauty supply giant, raised its annual sales forecast, and foot traffic in the beauty and self-care sector grew from 1% to 2%. And so what we can take from this data is that the industry is not slowing down, right? It is actually stabilizing. And so that tells us what? That this is a recession-proof business. And I have lived through it for almost 2 decades. I've seen a 2008 mortgage crisis, which I'm going to tell you guys back about COVID, right? We've seen many times where we're in periods of inflation, right? And we continue to see that beauty supply is consistent. It does not go down during an economic downturn. It actually goes up, because when people do not have money to spend on getting their hair professionally done, getting their nails professionally done, they will do it themselves and still have to go to the beauty supply store to get their items, to get their stuff in order to make it happen. Because we as Black women, we will continue to look good. We're not going to look like what we've been through. Period. Okay. We're not going to look like what we've been through. So if we lost a job, that's all right. We're going to figure out how to do our installs. We're going to figure out how to do our hair, how to do our kids' hair, how to do our nails. And that's why beauty supply always is such a consistent industry, because whether or not you are spending your discretionary income on the service-based stuff versus your DIY, do it yourself, you still have to come to the beauty supply store to get your stuff. And this is why I absolutely love this industry, because it just makes money year round, no matter what's happening in the economy. Okay, so now let's talk about what we're seeing now in 2026. Let's talk about what we're seeing now in 2026. So we are seeing that Black beauty and hair texture categories are actually increasing 4 to 6% annually. And Black consumers continue to drive billions in annual beauty spend, right? And so demand is not the issue, ownership is, right? And so this is the year, guys, that Black women stop watching and we start owning and reclaiming this industry, because we have now seen that Black women fuel the beauty economy, and yet we own just a fraction of it. And so by us now reclaiming this industry and taking back our power, it's not just about owning a store, a brick and mortar business. This actually becomes economic justice for us, because we as Black women, particularly Black women, we're not new to this, we're true to this. We had our pioneers come before us and already give us the blueprint on how to make our millions and how to be wealthy, right? So some of you guys know these names, Madam C.J. Walker, Annie Malone, right? These are pioneers, Black women who were self-made millionaires in the 1920s. This is a time where women weren't even allowed to have a bank account in their name. And these two Black women pioneered and showed us the way. And these are our ancestors. And so this is literally in our blood, right? To be able to do this, because they've already given us the blueprint on how to make it. Right? They did it through beauty. They had products. They did manufacturing. They had schools. They did marketing. They sold direct sales, right? Retail, all of that through beauty. And so now in 2026, we don't have any reason why we can't do this. We don't have anything holding us back from getting it done and opening our stores. And they did it during an economic crisis. They had the Spanish flu, which is one of the worst pandemics of that time, and still became wealthy. Why? Because wealth transfers in economic uncertainty and economic downturns. Most millionaires are made in recessions. Okay. I also started my store during a recession, which was the mortgage crisis of 2008. That was the Wall Street crisis. It was a terrible time. Do you remember that, right? We couldn't even find gas in gas stations in 2008. And this is where I got fired from my corporate job. I was a corporate girlie working for arguably the number one investment bank in the country, right? Worked for U.S. Treasury Department. I could have got another job in finance, and I chose to do entrepreneurship because I just knew that if I did this and I bet on myself, that it would be success. It would be a success. And I literally opened my store, right? And from then, never left this industry because I wanted more Black people to open beauty supply stores. Okay. And so when we look at the numbers and we look at the market and we break it down, 92% owned by the Asian demographic, 8% owned by African Americans. But 8 billion of that revenue is driven by Black consumers. So we are literally the culture. We are literally how we are funding these stores by being consumers. So now it's time to make that shift, right? It's time to make that shift and become owners, because even if we got a fraction of an $8 billion industry as Black owners, right? We have the potential to make billions collectively with our own stores, even at a fraction of that. So now let's talk about and get into how you can actually do this, how you can get started, and what are some of the strategies and gems that we are implementing right now in order to make sure that our stores are successful and are able to compete, right? So the first thing that I want to share with you guys in terms of strategy, right? Now in 2026, you want to make sure that your store has brands that will perform well and dominate. And so people no longer want to shop at stores where the products do not work, or the people don't understand the products and they're not giving education, right? People are now looking for stores that have results-driven products, and that's a product mix, right? And so the number one gem here is that you want to build a results-driven product mix, which is basically all the categories that you plan on selling in your store. And you have to do the market research in order to understand what is going to work well and what is going to sell in your community, so that you're not sitting with a lot of stock that is not selling and making you money. And this is exactly the strategy that I did with my own store, Fabulous Freddy's, that I opened in 2010. It was a very small store. It was 800 square feet of space. But with that, I created a niche product mix. I only sold high-end products for natural organic women and protective styling. And so we also had wigs, we also had braiding hair, we also had crochet hair, things like that, right? But it was very niche because it was a small store, and I knew that I couldn't be what the Asians had, which is big mega beauty supply stores, warehouses, where there's so much product and it's just, you can get lost, right? We still made 5-figure months. We were still making 15K, 20K in a month in our beauty supply store that was only 800 square feet of space. And that's very small, guys. That is very, very small. But it was all about curating the right product mix and making sure I understood what is selling in my community and making sure I had that data in order to have the right products in my store. Okay, that was very, very key for our success. The second thing is having your own private label products in your beauty supply store. And so a lot of retailers now are replacing third-party brands with their own products, right? Because when you do that, you're able to have a higher profit. You're able to create deeper loyalty amongst your customers. And you're also able to have more ownership, because now you're not only owning the shelves, but you're also owning the products on the shelves, right? And so this allows you to have higher margins and a higher take-home pay at the end of the day. Okay, so the secret here is that you want to launch your own signature product, right? You want to be able to build wealth beyond the four walls, okay? And this is exactly what we did with my client Pam out in Tampa, Florida. Her store is called My Shade and Texture. And Pam has a remarkable, what she calls a glow bar in her store, where she is able to, where customers are able to come in and mix and match different oils, different scrubs. And it's her signature line of body oils and scrubs that she has in the back of her store, right? And so not only is she able to deliver a remarkable experience for her customers, but her customers are also able to enjoy their own signature product line themselves from her product line, right? And so she's able to have higher margins because it's her brand, and people are able to create their own concoction. And so it's a win-win situation for everybody. Next gem, y'all. The next thing I want to mention is in 2026, if your store is not hybrid, meaning that you don't have the latest technology, you don't have AI running in your business and your operations, you are going to be left behind, right? You're going to be leaving a lot of money on the table, because now in 2026, customers are expecting buying their stuff online, picking up in store, different delivery options. They're expecting those emails and SMS updates. And so you want to make sure that your store is going to be able to deliver all that, especially in the world of AI, right? Especially in the world of AI. And you want to be able to build a dual channel marketing machine, retail machine. So that means that this business can make money for you while you are sleeping using technology, using AI, right? And so we don't have to be everything to everyone in our within our retail business, right? We can have different things running for us in the background, powered by technology and AI. Okay. And so this is another success story. This is Christina. She was a school teacher, and she turned into a stay-at-home mom when she came to us. And she mentioned that there was no beauty supply store in her community, and people had to drive 20 minutes out the way. And she wanted to open a store instead of going back to the classroom. Now, with Christina's store, which is a text message here, you can see the screenshot from August of 2023. She says that she made $96,978 within 6 months. This is like half year. And she made almost six figures in her business, which is remarkable. And then I asked, hey, that is amazing. Like, what's driving that revenue? And she mentions 12,000 worth on DoorDash. Okay. DoorDash is an app. Okay. It's a delivery app. And so again, if you guys are not on the latest AI and technology, you are leaving a lot of money on the table. And so I want you guys to start to understand and see that beauty supply is just not about retail and sales and having people come in and out and buy products, right? There's several streams of revenue that you could be taking advantage of with your beauty supply business. So I just want you to see it as like a parent company, right? That has all these additional revenue streams beneath it that is going to be making you all of this money. So this is another 5 figures just off of an app, DoorDash. Okay. Again, we have another client, Benisa, who has a hair salon where she was making $500 a day. I also had a hair salon in my beauty supply store. And my 2 stylists, what we did was we had these amazing bundle deals, which I always suggest people have in their store. But we had an amazing bundle deal where you would get your install plus 3 bundles, which is our signature product, right? So we had our signature product, and you would get that done with the bundles closure for $500. And they was able to get people in and out $500 and make $15,000 per month, right? With this bundle deal. So again, you want to think of a service-based business you want to have in your beauty supply store so that you can have, money coming in and out, and you're not having to do the work, right? You're not having to do the hair. You're not having to do the thing. And that literally was actually how I was able to pay myself, was from my hairstylist and having that salon. And then all of the retail money, I was able to reinvest that back into the business, back into technology, marketing, more inventory, coaching, things of that nature, right? So now let's get into the funding and how we get funding for people. So like I mentioned, guys, we got $1.5 million in funding for women last year, right? Opening stores. And so funding is not the problem. People would think that there's no money out there, which is a lie. The money is out there, and the money is just not the problem. It's your positioning. And so lenders lend, they're just cautious on who they lend to. Okay. And so a lot of lenders, if you don't have, number one, a business plan in place, and y'all can take a picture of this slide because this is one of the most important slides. You must have a business plan in order to get funding from an investor, from the SBA, from a lender, a bank. They're going to want to see a business plan. And a lot of times when I talk to people and have consults about this business plan, it could be an overwhelming thing for sure. And so what I want you guys to understand is there's 5 things that you need in a business plan. I call this my 5 P's, right? The first P is the place. You need to identify a location and write about that in your business plan. So not only do they want to see the location, they want to see the traffic, the demand, the demographics. The second P is the purpose. This is, why do you need this money? Whatever money you're asking for, what is they call this a use of funds. You need to figure out how to create a use of funds statement, which is basically an Excel spreadsheet breakdown of dollar for dollar how you plan on spending this money. So if you're asking for $100,000 for your beauty supply, which is on average what we ask for, you need to break down how you plan on spending this $100,000. How much is going towards inventory? How much is going towards the build out? How much is going towards marketing and payroll? How much is going towards rent, right? You have to break that down in your sources and uses of funds, right? The third P is your product mix. We mentioned the product mix in the beginning. It's very important that you identify your product mix, high margin, fast moving beauty essentials, right? Things that blenders will understand. They want to see how this store is going to make this money, and you're going to show that when you break down your product mix, okay, in your business plan. The fourth P is going to be your promotion. This is your marketing plan and your marketing strategy. How do you plan on finding customers and making them become loyal to you? Because everybody is shopping somewhere for their beauty supplies, right? So you have to figure out how you're going to steal some folks, right? That's what I tell people. How are you going to steal these folks so that they can shop with you and become loyal? That's your marketing plan. And then the last P is going to be your projections. This is going to be your financial projections, and you want to show revenue, sales, income, how much you plan on bringing in, right? Every single month, break it down over 3 years. Also, the expenses, the operating expenses, your overhead. What does that look like for 3 years? As well as your break even numbers. So we've gone through this program, this process with a lot of people within our programs, and we understand what lenders reject versus what they approve. So in the business plan, you want to avoid saying things like, I just love hair and beauty, that's why I want to start this business. Versus this store serves a high demand Black and brown consumer base with proven repeat purchases. They are going to reject vague location ideas. I'll figure it out, once I get the money. They want to see specific plaza and traffic counts, demographic, and nearby anchors. What are anchors? Anchors is like if there's a Target or a Walmart, like some big box retailer by you that's also going to help attract people to your store, right? Potentially. They're going to reject random products, right? They want to see an intentional product mix with the margins that lenders already understand. Okay, I'm going to bring Keisha up because she has something exciting to share.
Yes, ma'am. So last week I reported that I went underwriting, and today I actually got approved for my full amount for my loan.
Yay!
Thank you, Janice, actually, for saying, no, call him tomorrow. I got the official email announcement today that I got the full amount that I requested. And yes, so I'm excited. I'm nervous and everything all in between. I mean, it took me a year to get here. I'm here now. The money is available.
Well, that's so exciting. Let everyone know what the full amount is.
I got $150K.
Yes. See, it's possible, y'all. It's possible.
And in the words of Janice, everything's going to be moving fast right now.
Yes. So that's Miss Keisha Woodruff, and she was literally able to get $150,000 for her store out in Tomball, Texas. And Keisha literally was also working a 9-to-5. This was a dream of hers for 10 years. 10 years she was following me ever since I had my store, and got with us, opened her store, got $150,000 in funding for her store, and has been running her store for almost 3 years. So the funding is there, right? The funding is available, guys. It's all about making sure that you are in position for lenders to say yes to your application. That's how we do it. All right. So let's do a quick check-in, y'all. I know it's a lot of information, but I know that it's good information. So let's just check in. Let me know if this was helpful, guys. Give me a yes in the chat if this was helpful, if this training was helpful, if this was worth your time, right? Being here and listening to me. Let me know if I did my job, y'all. Let me know if this was helpful. Give me a yes in the chat. Also, let me know if you now feel a bit more ready to start your store. Like if you can see how you can open the store and make multiple 6 figures, 7 figures with beauty supply. Okay. And also let me know in the chat, guys, if you now feel like you want to join the movement of Black entrepreneurs taking over the beauty supply industry one store at a time. Now, this movement is not for everybody, right? Like I said in the beginning, it's not for everybody. But if you feel like this is for you and you've called and you've heard enough information, you saw the numbers and you saw the breakdown and it makes sense, I want you to type in "I'm ready" in the chat. If you're like, let's go, let's do this, I want to go ahead and open my store, I want you to type in "I'm ready" in the chat. If the numbers make sense, I want you to type in "I'm ready" in the chat. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Because your next step, y'all, is to get locked in with me and my team in our Beauty Supply Intensive program. This is where we hold hands with you to build a beauty supply store, but not just a store, but actually owning an asset, a recession-proof asset that you can literally pass down to your children. Because in this, we're not just teaching you for funding and teaching you vendors, like we're helping you get positioned for these things, because ownership done wrong could be very, very expensive. Okay. But ownership done right changes families and legacies. So in this program, we have our 3 C's for success. This is our community, this is our courses, and this is our clarity, right? So our community, this is our in-person live execution workshop experience. Okay, this is 2 days with me and my team, and we do it quarterly. Every quarter we go down to Atlanta, Georgia. So everyone in the cohort will fly in from all over. So like y'all see here tonight, we have people from Florida, we have people from all over. So we will fly in to Atlanta to work on our stores. And so in the 2 days, which is a Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday, something like that, we are working on your beauty supply store. We're working on your beauty supply assets. And this is where you're getting the live coaching, the live feedback, and the live accountability, because courses is great and you guys will have access to that, but there's nothing like an in-person experience to actually get the work done. Okay. And so this is where we make things happen. Anything else you want to mention about your journey and inspire other people who might be thinking about taking the leap into opening a beauty supply store and they're just like, I don't even know what to do, how to start, I'm scared, like working, mom, like all the things.
Oh my goodness, all the things.
Listen,
you're gonna have all the things. That's not gonna go away in this world, right? Yep. But that's how we overcome, by sharing our testimonies with one another. And then I would also say, do not let your dreams die. Don't let it just be an idea. There are so many people that are dead in their grave and they had a dream and they went down to the grave with it and nobody knows. Don't be that person. You can do this. You have help, longevity. Get with someone that has some mature experience. I mean, and if there's some conflict, work through it with peace, with a solution, not just adding on to it. Work with it through a solution. But regardless, don't let your dreams go to the grave. Live them out.
Yes, and live them out. That was our last intensive that we had, y'all, in Atlanta, where the women had came out, and it was just a great time. And so, guys, if that's something that you are interested in, I'm gonna drop my link in the chat so you can book a call with me and we can get you started in that journey. So the next thing is you have access to our university. So this is our courses online where you'll be taking the trainings. And so you'll get a username and password. And it's just like getting into the Harvard School of Beauty Supply. I have tons of trainings. And so if y'all enjoyed this training tonight, this is exactly how I teach online. It's real. It's no fluff stuff. It's information straight, no chaser. Okay. So this is how all my trainings are online, but we really walk you through A to Z, every step on how to get started in our training. So everything from the funding to the licenses and permits that you need, the systems, the inventory, creating your product mix, creating your business plan and financial projections, creating your branding. We have that all in our Beauty Supply University. We have all of our templates, guides, and calculators. So our pricing strategies, everything is in our university. So each training has its own homework and execution assignments that you guys will be completing before we get to Atlanta. And so this is like a curriculum overview of some of our modules that we have: establishing your beauty brand, building your business credit, creating your business plan and financial projections. Like, we literally go through a lot in our university. And so this is another success story. This is Terrell. She has a store out in DFW area. And when she took our program, she quoted, "Janice was such a phenomenal help in getting this girl boss started. Her course had a lot of information that you can't just get anywhere." And she was also able to get $75,000 in funding once she had her hands on our business plan. Okay. And so, guys, when you enroll, we have a strategy session that we do where we actually create a custom roadmap for you. So when you get started, and as soon as you enroll, you get a link to book a call so I can actually create a custom roadmap, because everyone is going to be at different places in their journey. And so it's really important that you have a custom execution roadmap so you understand what the milestones are and when you should have your store open by. Okay. So this is the full value breakdown of what you're getting in this program. So you have access to our university for an entire year. So you have 12 months access there. You have the one-on-one strategy and roadmap session with me. And then you also have the 2-day in-person workshop in Atlanta, Georgia, right? All valued at $9,000. And so if this program that is valued at $9,000 was able to help you open your store and get up to $250,000 in sales your first year and literally change your family's life, would it be worth that investment, right? So we go back to our mindset and understanding that everything requires an investment, right? Yes or yes. Because at this point, this is where a lot of people say, I don't think I have the time, or I have other financial things going on, or let me wait till next year. Right now is not the right time. There is no such thing as a right time. I will tell you this right now. That is absolutely fantasy stuff that we tell ourselves because it just sounds responsible, right? To wait. The time to open a beauty supply store was last year. Okay, so the next best time is right now. Okay, the next best time is right now. And so our standard enrollment rate is $5,000. But for you guys here on the call, you have exclusive 40% off the enrollment price because we have not launched this publicly. So you can actually get in. We have payment options, or you can pay in full. So the pay in full is $3,000, right? If you pay in full, so you save an additional $500. And then our payment option is 3 monthly payments of $1,167. Okay. And so we also have funding available, which is Klarna and Afterpay. So you can also take advantage of that, which I will explain to you all on the call. So your next step is to go ahead and book the call here, and I will break down all of the payment options that we have available and things of that nature. And we get you started. So your next step is to book a call. I have opened my calendar for you guys who say you are ready so that you can book a call and we can get you started. Okay. This is Allure Beauty Supply. She's out in Jacksonville, Florida. I feel like I've seen a lot of Florida people on this call tonight, but she's in Jacksonville, Florida. Was also get $75,000 in funding for her beauty supply store. And she also wrote here, Allure was our dream come true, and we could not have done it without Janice and her team. And so this is exactly why the program exists, because we want to be able to remove all of the confusion, all of the guessing, the delays, the bad vendor decisions, the costly mistakes, the terrible locations, right? Because we give you a roadmap that has been proven and worked for women nationwide, right? And this is why I reiterate that all these stores are all over America, right? So the blueprint works as long as you work it. Okay. And so you'll be walking away with your system set up, your POS, your vendor accounts, your strategy for launching your store, your online store set up, a portal where you're able to log in and watch trainings 24/7, because this is everything that you're getting in this program. And this is also New York Beauty Supply. These are two gentlemen that opened the first Black-owned beauty supply store in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And literally, they were surrounded by a lot of mega beauty supply stores who were trying to prevent them from opening their stores. They called me and was like, hey, we got a lot of beauty supply stores over here. We're trying to get this open. We got it open, and y'all, they made $10,000 in sales their grand opening weekend. Okay, in 2 days, right? In 2 days, they had a line outside of their door with their beauty supply store. And that's, again, just reiterating to you guys that the community wants a Black-owned beauty supply store. Nobody want to shop at the Asian stores. Okay, they are waiting for your store to get open. Okay, and you will see that at your grand opening day. And so, fast action bonus for all the people who booked tonight, guys. This is something I'm throwing in for you guys who are action takers, because action takers tend to be my favorite clients because y'all get the work done. Okay, and so I want to reward that. And so for my action takers tonight who booked their calls with me, we are also going to throw in for you guys a done for you business plan. So I'm going to have my writer, who typically only works with our one-on-one clients in our done for you program, where they are paying upwards $35,000 for a team. She is going to write the business plan for y'all. Okay, this is only for the people who booked their call tonight. And so with this business plan, you're going to get the lender ready business plan that I said that y'all need to have in order for these lenders to say yes to your application. This means it is going to be structured to meet bank and private funding standards. It's going to have the location and market information, right? The demographics that I mentioned, the clear use of funds, the product mix, the financial projections going out 3 years, right? With that monthly revenue, the monthly expenses, and the monthly cash flow. She's going to write all of this for you, right? This by itself is worth $3,000, and you guys are going to get this complimentary when you take action today, okay? And so this bonus is not going to be available later. Again, this is for women who understand that they want to move forward and they're ready to go. So with that fast action bonus, total value comes to $12,000, and y'all getting it today for $3,000. Okay, so this is like a no-brainer, y'all. This is a no-brainer. So I want you guys to go ahead and book your calls with me. And like I said on the calls, if you have questions about the payment options and payment arrangements, we go through all of that on the call. Okay, so let's go into what the first 30 days in the program actually look like. So the first thing is you guys get immediate access to the program once you enroll. So you'll have immediate access to the trainings, so you can watch those trainings right away. So we get to work right away as soon as you enroll. Okay, so you're gonna get a link to book the strategy session with me, and we get you enrolled. And you start on your milestones. So we map out your custom plan and you start on those milestones. So there's clear milestones with dates and tracking. So you're not guessing what you need to do next. Okay. We're also going to be working on your business plan for you. So for those of you who book your call tonight, we're going to be working on your business plan for you. That's typically delivered in 14 days. So it's a very, very fast turnaround time. And then again, we meet in Atlanta for our 2-day workshop, which again is going to be happening in June 20th and 21st. Okay. So at this moment, the options are here for you to either keep researching and Googling and YouTube University, or you can take the next step, lock arms with me and my team, and let us help you get your store open. Okay. And so guys, I'm going to stop here and answer any questions. That is the end of the training. If you guys have questions, this will be your time to drop it in the chat. I got 3 minutes for Q&A. So you can ask questions about the program or just anything in general. You can go ahead and drop any questions you have in the chat. But I'm going to go ahead and drop my link again for you guys to be able to book your consult with me so that we can get you enrolled. I do have my calendar open for this week. So y'all want to get in this week on my calendar so that we can get your business plan started for you immediately. We get that started for you immediately. So any questions, y'all, go ahead and drop them in the chat. But I'm excited for you guys to take your next step towards beauty supply ownership. Okay, so question. So when I book this call, I need to be ready to invest. Correct. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We'll be enrolling you live on the call. Typically, I would drop the link to enroll, but I feel people are just a bit more comfortable with doing it on a call. So that's why I'm dropping that link for y'all to book a call so you can enroll live and be able to ask your questions about payment options and things of that nature. Awesome question. Any other questions, y'all? Any other questions? Who is ready to move forward and get their store open? Who is ready to do it and get your store open? So yes, you can also what I suggest, because it is by space, right? So if in a week's time we don't have no spaces left, then you'll be asked out. So what I suggest is you can start with a payment option, right? And then be able to pay it off when you're, in a week's time, when you're able to pay it off, you can pay it off that way. But I still suggest you get in and secure your spot, and put the down payment on. And then when you're able to pay off the balance, you can do that when you're able to. But that way you're still in, and we can start working on your business plan and keep the ball rolling. Because the thing is to get things done very, very fast for you guys. And literally in the first 90 days, we want to get you to the funding. So we start on that business plan so that we can get you to the funding, and we start that immediately. So that's what I would suggest. Yes, ma'am. Any other questions? All right, y'all. Well, it is 8:00. That's my time. I thank you guys truly for coming on tonight and hearing about the beauty supply industry, because it's something that's super, super near and dear to my heart. And so, again, if God has called you to open a store, literally, it is your time, and this is the year to get it open. So I'm super excited, and I will see you guys on the next training. Have a good night.